Before I ask about a couple of great pop culture things that you were involved with, which I haven't heard you talk about, I first want to say your 2019 and your 2020, forget what's going on in the world. Let's see. You put out another great selling book. DDPY kept growing. Innovations on all that, and you got a documentary done and out, and you made an AEW return. I mean, do these rank as productive years for you, or is there a lot you didn't get done due to the pandemic?
I got everything I wanted. I got done more. I got more done than I thought I would. and I'm going to be 65 in April. So, yeah, I just got a great crew. They all see the vision, you know, and we just keep working towards it. And it's been an amazing year. You know, I went through a lot of things, you know, over this last 2 years between getting divorced and moving on in that scenario, and then just finding the positive in just about everything, you know, and that's what Positively Unstoppable is all about. The really cool thing was we just had the Positively Unstoppable Challenge finish up at the end of October for 2020, and there was supposed to be 3 people. We're about to start another one here tomorrow. On January 1st, we're starting the Positively Unstoppable $1 Million Challenge again. And we just had all the finalists in December down to the Performance Center. And I invited them all to my Christmas party, which was a COVID-free Christmas party. Normally there's 150 people there. There's probably about 25, 30, but every single person had to go and get COVID tested within 48 hours of coming. And that's the only way they could get in. And I understood people not wanting to be around it because of COVID, but we went to every length to make sure everybody was protected. And from what I heard, nobody got COVID out of it. So we brought down, there's supposed to be 3 winners. Mm-hmm. Third place, $5,000. Second place, $10,000. The first place gets the opportunity to win $1 million out of, there's 100 books up there, Positively Unstoppable books. And within every single, 99 of them, within one of them is $1 million. Mm-hmm. The other 99 all have $25,000. So it was supposed to be 3 people. I couldn't pick 3 people because the 4 people, their transformation physically was so good that I couldn't say, well, this one's better than that one when we got down to the final 4. So I added another $5,000 in there, which I didn't have to do. I did it because I always do things because it makes me feel good about me.
Right.
If it doesn't make me feel good about me, I don't do it. And I don't care what that is. And in this scenario, we had a tie for 3rd place, and that was Justin Dobbins. And he lost about 82 pounds over that 6-month period. But you have to understand, Justin, this was towards the end of his journey. Mm-hmm. He was starting at 698 pounds, 6'7". By the time he started the contest, he had lost like 220 pounds already. And when I just happened to see his clip. He put a video in. There's a site that's the Positively Unstoppable Challenge and all the people who are contestants, they go to. But they also flowed over to the DDP Yoga, one word, DDP Yoga. It's a members site. And they all flowed over there. It started with one guy named Chris Gabriano. He started that page, remember, people who do the program. Now it's got over 55,000 people. Mm-hmm. And it's the most nurturing, empathetic, supportive, enthusiastic group of people you have ever seen. And they all try to help each other. And I saw Justin put a post up. And he said, I'm already down like 200 plus pounds on my journey. I still got a long way to go. And I'm entering this Positively Unstoppable Challenge, not for the money. I'm entering it to keep myself accountable to get to my goals.
Right.
And the bottom line is, over that period, I want to see he lost 80, 85 pounds. And when you have everybody having an amazing physical transformation, we got to go to the next thing, which was the mental transformation. And we're going to figure out where your mental transformation is by what you write us and what you say on the interviews that qualify you to get to the final 3. Every one of them had an amazing mental transformation. So it came down to our last category, documentation. And Justin, going back to him first, all he really took was pictures and a couple of videos somewhere in between. But he was mainly out there talking, and supporting people and helping people. Because what happens when you get a part of our program, so many people are looking for hope. They're looking for some place that they can actually do. Like, a lot of people can't walk anymore because they're too beat up. Justin Dobbins walked in 1 year, he walked off 170 pounds. And that his body was so beat up, walking was killing him. That's how he went to DDPY. And he would lose an additional 229 pounds. He lost 401 pounds in 23 months. He's in third place.
I'm amazed that the numbers stick with you, that you know how much weight people lost without cue cards. How do you do that?
I care.
Okay. Good answer.
I talk to all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, if I shared with you all the stories I have that I've been working on for the last 6 months, and none of those people were in the contest. None of them. They're all people who will probably join this year. And their stories are just unbelievable, man. And a lot of people, I will go on and I'll read their stories on that DDP Yoga Facebook site, but also people will write me on Twitter. They'll DM me. And anybody's doing my program, I follow. If I see it, and I follow you if I see you talking about the program. Instagram, they'll send me messages there. They send them to me on Facebook. I don't get them all, but amazingly, I get a lot of them.
Yeah.
And like I said, Justin, the only reason that he didn't win it all was because he didn't document his entire journey, like, to the fullest. Another guy who had his name was Scotty. We call him Boots. I can't remember how to say his last name, but Scotty Boots, he lost like 95 pounds in 6 months. And he went from just being a big, heavy dude to boom, guy who's about 170 pounds. And he looks phenomenal. Again, he only took the pictures along the way. And then you get to someone like Caitlin. And Caitlin, she started the contest last year and she lost 30 pounds. And she was like, I'm all in. I am a believer. This is changing my life. She went in this year, she lost 72 more pounds. And she did a lot of documentation, but it wasn't as much as Candi did. And Candi was our winner. And Candi's, Caitlin's name is Caitlin K. And she's a beautiful young lady. And just an amazing energy out there, like so positive and so supportive. And that's what I love about what I do. You ask me, how do I remember? Because I develop relationships with anybody who puts the work in. Like, there's so many people out there who are big wrestling fans that do my program. And there's other people who have no idea I wrestled at all. But they heard, oh, he was a wrestler. And it's about 50-50. And the girl who won it all, her name is Candi McCarthy. I'll always screw this up. Herndon. I'll never say the last name right. But Candi, her story was so unbelievable, man. And the adversities that she dealt with, from Hashimoto's disease to cancer, this is all like within a year. Her mother dying, and her mother was a junkie. I mean, it was to see where this girl started, and you can see. Excuse me, let's get a drink of water.
Is that in a DDPY thermos?
I'm sorry?
Is that in a DDPY thermos? Because you can't go that.
Dude, come on.
Yes, it is.
The best ever. Those Thermos bottles, they're phenomenal. I used to buy Batmans and Supermans and all that. I figured to buy my own stuff, saying cost me half the price. But I love those bottles.
Yeah. We
give them to every superstar that comes through my house. Like, it's a rotating thing of people taking them, and when they lose their bottle, they're bummed out. But back to Candi. Candi, when she started, she was in a dark place, and she was wanting to get out of the dark. And to think about, like, last night I called her. God, I can't remember why I called her originally. But when we were talking, she had said, Dallas, I want to give back. I want to pay this forward. Would you be okay if I was to give, did I lose you? Okay, there.
We got you.
She said, would you be okay if I was to pay for 3 people's monthly a year membership on the app and give them 3 heart monitors? Would you have a problem with that? I'm like, what? I go, I've never had anybody do that before, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
And actually, we did have a group of people together that was like almost like a GoFundMe for DDPY, and people took donations from people. I'm like, this is just a group of people who do the program.
It's a community.
And they would get DVD packages. That's when it was like that. And they would send them to people who didn't have the money, but really wanted to put the work in.
Right.
And they came up with some kind of system to pick them. And Candi didn't really know like how she should go about it. And I said, well, this is what I do. Because people come to me all the time and they beg, and plead for me to work with them. And depending on their circumstances, and I'm talking about for no money, I'm talking about just to help them. There's a thing I have called the list. Mm-hmm. And the list is something Arthur Borman did. Stacey Morris, Stacey Tillman, Terry Lang, Vance Hines. This is something that everybody does if they are really in a spot where they don't know how to get out of that spot. They get in their own way. And on the app, when you first come on the app, which anybody who ever wants to try the app, it's 7 days free. So it ain't like you're gonna buy shit. 7 days free. Mm-hmm. When you get on that app, you watch the first video, because that's going to show you where to go and what to do and what is actually here.
Right.
Then you go, I tell everyone, go to the menu, go to user guide, watch that video. It's like 5 minutes. Then scroll down to the list. If you do everything on that list, and a lot of it's on the app, like take 6 pictures, put down your weight, your goal weight, and what your weight is right now, right. Your measurements. Because a lot of people don't understand when you're losing weight, there gets a point where I didn't lose any weight this week or this month, like, okay, well, how much muscle did you put on? Because muscle weighs way more than fat. So what it comes down to is that if you're losing the inches and you're putting the work in and you're eating properly, because you can't out-train a bad diet. You just can't. You eat shit, you ain't gonna get no results. You might get stronger. You might break up some scar tissue. You might feel better, most likely. If you're putting the work in, you'll still do that. Mm-hmm. But if you want to lose the weight, it's the workout and how you eat. That's 10% of the equation. The 90%'s right here between your ears. So I told Candi, I said, what I do when people come to me with they think my initials are JC instead of DDP, I say, okay, here's your deal. Do the list.
Yeah. And
when you finish that list, here's my email. Email it to me. Let me know you finished it, because I'm going to call you. And I'll know whether you finished the list or not by the questions that you're about to get asked.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, I don't have the time, and you'll never get that call back again. So, because I don't have the time. I don't have the time for people who are half interested. I have the time for people who put the work in and really want it. So here we are with 4 contestants.
Mm-hmm.
Once I realized how amazing everybody was, how hard they worked, we didn't bring down just the winner. We brought down all 4 of them and their significant other, and they got invited to my Christmas party, which they just loved.
Yeah.
And then we filmed them, and we filmed Candi going for the big prize, and we filmed everybody's story, because everybody's story is super special. And we have literally tens of thousands of them out there today. And so many of them I have no idea about. I just talked to a woman literally 2 hours ago, because I saw her on that DDP Yoga Facebook, and her first name is Catherine, and it's something like Bouchard. She's from Montreal. She speaks French, and I know this because I called my buddy who works with me, Pat McCormick. I mean, Pat, not McCormick, McDermott, Pat McDermott. And I said, yeah, I said, Patty, I said, you know who this woman, Catherine Bouchard, or whatever her last name is? He goes, yeah. I go, get me your number. He goes, okay. I said, I want to get you. I'm going to tell her, you're going to get a hold of her. I want her whole story, because I've been seeing her up there on the DDP Yoga site, and turns out over a 3-year period, she lost 192 pounds doing the program. Like, she was blown away. My English is not so good. I'm like, It's perfect. I can understand you. Yeah. I wish I spoke French, and then we could go there, and my French would be horrendous. But she was a super cool lady. She was blown away that I called her. But I call people all the time, especially people who put the work in. Especially, I didn't know about her journey. Because there was times when she didn't really post a lot in the beginning, because people are afraid to. And what's really cool, less and less people are afraid to. And if you saw the pictures people put up on that site, how did they have the guts to do that?
Right.
They had the guts to do that. That means they're serious. That's what it means to me.
To kind of tie together your wrestling past with where everything is at with DDPY, as somebody who follows a lot of the different Facebook groups and activity related to DDPY, something that cracks me up is when, say, the NWO started in wrestling, it was just 2 or 3 guys. And then before long, here's NWO Japan, here's NWO Latino World. Okay,
right.
There's that with DDPY in terms of, there's a group called Misfits for Muscles. There's that subgroup. There's all these interesting subgroups and communities that I don't think everyone realizes are out there.
Marcel Doré, who is from Canada, he is a doctor, an MD. He hasn't passed my level 1 certification. He's passed my level 2 certification. This is an MD,
right,
who gets more results from helping people, because so many people don't move. I mean, when he was doing his classes, now he's doing a lot of stuff online. As a matter of fact, he emailed me today and said, if there's any way you can show up, D, we're going to have 60 people at 11 o'clock doing a live Zoom workout to bring in the new year with a bang. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
And so I'm talking about all over the world.
Yeah.
It's not just in the States. It's everywhere. And the movement is about helping people. Have you seen Relentless yet?
I have seen Relentless, and I know it's been through a couple of cuts, and you redid it since the first edition I saw.
You haven't seen the new stuff? Oh my God! It's like a whole new documentary. Right now, we have it on Amazon Prime. Anybody who's watching, if you do go and see it, you will be inspired. You will be blown away a lot too. We have about 140 some reviews, all 5-star. Everybody really love the program. You know, I mean, the documentary, really, I've had nothing but love from it. And that's what the whole thing's about. You know, it's funny because it started out 7 years ago, and we were developing let's show the people who come to our site, like, who are these people? You know, who is Diamond Dallas Page? Who is this team he has around him? It was just mainly to give us credibility for you to see, like we're the real deal, you know, and we're authentic, and more than anything, we care. And after the second run through, Steve said, he called me up and he said, I'm sending you the newest edition. He goes, this is so much more than about the company. Mm-hmm. He goes, this is really inspirational. And he sent it to me, and I called him back and go, yeah, you're right. He goes, I think we should keep working on this. He said, I think there's something here that's bigger than what we thought it was. And I was like, I agree, man. And then last year at this time, mm-hmm. like right now, it had been finished. The last run, before the one you see now, but the second to last run, it was done. And from September to December, I kept going to Steve, when are we going to put this out there? We need to put this out there. Let's put it on Netflix or Amazon Prime, or, you know, where else I wanted to put it on iTunes. I go, let's put it out there. And we were so busy because we started taking on the AEW stuff that we got over inundated. And then Cody, a year ago, like today, had asked me if I wanted to come back for one more match. And at first we had talked about it a month before, and I called them back and I said, you know, man, I think I'm overstepping my bounds when it comes to believability, what I can do physically. Because if I was to tear my ACL or break my neck, or, you know, I'm still a Ferrari, but I got 998,000 miles on me. So, you know, yeah. If I was to do something like that, that would be like the stupidest thing I've ever done. So he goes, well, let's just put it off to the side for now. And I was like, yeah, you're right. We should do that. And then it was around now. And he said to me, so what do you think? You think you got one more in you? And I started thinking about it. And when I tried to wrestle, it was 1979. Mm-hmm. I had 3 matches in 1979. They were horrible.
Were you horrible. Dallas Page in the 1979 matches, or did you have a different name?
Yes. No, that's who I was. I thought I was honoring Handsome Jimmy Valiant. Yeah. I didn't realize I was stealing his gimmick. I mean, I love, and whenever I see Handsome, man, I mean, there's a brotherhood of me and him. Like, he's known for 30 years that, like him, of course, Dusty, Superstar Billy Graham, Bruno Sammartino, Larry Zbyszko. You know, those are the guys I grew up with. And, but Handsome and I had like this special, like when I told him, you know, in Memphis, when I was in 1997, and I was over, like, as over as you could be, mm-hmm. you know, and he came up to me, Diamond Dallas Page. I'm like, Handsome Jimmy Valiant. And man, we hugged for about 5 minutes, man. I mean, I love that guy. And every time I see him, it's the same. Like, he made me want to do this. Mm-hmm. Like, he's the guy. Of course, Superstar was too. So was Bruno. So was Dusty. But I didn't really physically relate to them. Handsome had a great body, but he wasn't jacked like friggin' Bruno with the chest, or jacked the way, you know, Superstar was. He was muscular, but he was just smooth, you know. And so he made me think I could do it. And I did. I did 3 matches, and I hurt my knee, and then that was it. And then when I came back to the AWA as a manager in '88, mm-hmm. in '89, I went to Florida Championship Wrestling, and I managed Big Steel Man, who is Fred Ottmer,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, who's the Shockmaster in Tugboat from WWE. I managed Fred and Dickie Slater and Johnny Ace and Terminator, his brother Mark Laurinaitis, and I did color with Gordon Soley.
Mm-hmm.
And in my match, Dusty had made this big show. It was a big show. There was about 2,500 people there, which was huge back then.
Yeah.
And if at this point Slater and I had separated, and I was working with Big Steel Man, so it was Big Steel Man against Slater. But if he beat Steel Man, well, then he got 5 minutes with DDP.
Right.
And that match is actually up on YouTube. I found it. It's embarrassing, but there's points where you say, wait a minute, that guy, he's got something there, you know? So my point of that whole story is I wrestled in 89. So that's 2 decades. It was only 4 matches, but in 79 and 89. Then, of course, 90s, you know, I wrestled a billion times. 2000, I wrestled a lot the first couple of years. And then in 2010, I'm totally retired by then. My buddy Ray Lloyd, AKA Glacier, calls me up and he says, D, we got a match in Rome, Georgia, 6-man tag. I would love to have you in it. And I thought, that would make 5 decades. I got to do it.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I got the chance of "You Still Got It."
Yeah.
I was using mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
You know, but it really looked like I still did, you know. So now it's 2020, and I've been, in between there's 2010 and 2020. Yeah, I did the Rumble. You know, I got to drop 3 diamond cutters and get knocked over the top rope. I was like, please God, don't let me tear my knee.
Right.
You know, and then I did the Battle Royal and I got to drop a diamond cutter or 2 and over the top rope. Please God, don't let me tear my knee. And both times God let me get through it. And then when we came up with this match, and you know, a lot of those guys in there are pretty green. You know, as great as MJF is, and he is great. Mm-hmm. I love watching all this stuff. He's still a little green, you know. He was then, not so much today, but you know, every day he gets better and better and better. As far as promos and presence, he's already 45 and over for 20 years. Yes. You know, the kid's unbelievable. But I was just trying to do that duck line clothesline where he ducks and hooks, and I pull him back, and I had to do it like about 7 times with him. And that day, I pulled something. It wasn't because of him. It was the big guy too, the Butcher, who I love and is really starting to look really good now. And just doing that movement, I had to just show the guy because no one's ever done it. You know, it's one of those things that people didn't. Oh, well, I could use that too. You know. I pulled something the week before the match. I think it was 2 weeks. I can't remember what it was 1 week in between. I think it was 2 weeks in between. But I pulled something in my lat, and we all went down to work on the stuff that, you know, the Sunday before, and it was all good. And then Cody told me, "You blow whatever comeback you want, and then." QT is going to do this flip, and Dustin's going to do this flip, and then you're going to come off the top rope to the guys on the floor. All right. And I'm just thinking, oh God. And the ropes I'm on, when he's saying, they move like this. And when I got there, he's like, don't worry about those ropes, are super tight there. And they are, meaning that they don't roll. And it was magic. And when I finished that match, my girl and I, you know, we got back to the hotel and had a few drinks, were hanging out, went to bed. I woke up and I looked at her and I said, Paige, I know why we've not released Relentless yet. She goes, what do you mean? I said, the documentary's been done for 4 months.
Right.
I realize now why we haven't released it. She's like, why? I said, this has to be in it. You know, it starts with me blowing out my back and being told you're never going to wrestle again in 99, and now in 2020, I'm in that ring again.
Right.
Even for a blip, it doesn't matter. I didn't just go in there, hit a diamond cut, and roll out. It was active. It was all over the place. Jake sent me the best text ever. He's like, no ring rust? WTF. How the hell do you, I'm not showing any ring rust? Great job. And coming from the master, like as far as I'm concerned, Jake is on every Rushmore, Mount Rushmore you can have up there, from talking to ring work to psychology. Jake is always on Mount Rushmore. So for Jake to give me that compliment, that was pretty cool. And the way I envisioned coming off that top turnbuckle to the floor, and I used to have a picture, and I'm so bummed I don't have it anymore, but I had a picture of Mondo Guerrero jumping off the top. Now, I'd never seen that before. Jumping off the top rope in 1988, and me and Pat Tanaka and Paul Diamond are like this. Not like this, like, what the hell? You know, when it came down, all three of us, I had no idea that spot was going to happen. They pulled me over there, and then it went. I never seen anything like that before. To me, that was like seeing Snuka jump off the top of the cage
at the Garden.
Yeah, that's what it was like. You know, I was like, oh my God. But the whole Guerrero family, you know, everybody knows they're legendary, man.
They're all geniuses. And that statistic you have about the 6 decades, that one has come up outside of wrestling in music with Desmond Child, the songwriter who wrote Living on a Prayer with Bon Jovi and Livin' La Vida.
Right.
He's also the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 10s, 20s. I can't find anyone else that's kind of done that. Maybe if Gene Hackman puts out a movie in 2020, otherwise.
Yeah.
You'll be on Mount Rushmore of 6 decades at the top. So credit.
The one guy, you know, who really grabbed my attention on it. One guy was the first guy to really grab my attention was, damn, how the hell can his name skip my mind right now? Lou Thez.
Oh, yeah.
Lou Thez wrestled at 70.
Yeah. And
that gave him, like, I want to say 7. Somehow it had given him 7 decades. I know it was at least 6. It might have been 6. But for some reason, I remember 7 because being 70, you know? And hey, who knows? You know, I'm like right now, and I'm sure you've seen the DDPY jack straps I've been wearing.
Yes.
And a lot of workouts, they're all about rehab. They're all about rushing the blood flow and boosting your human growth hormone. I don't know how, but there is a interview I just did, me and Steve you did, with a guy. Have you ever heard of Dr. Andrews?
Dr. Andrews, but I don't know his first name.
Dr. Andrews is like when someone from the NFL, NBA, WWE, AEW.
WWE, James Andrews, is it?
Dr. James Andrews.
Yes.
His clinic, I was just in his clinic 2 weeks ago. And actually, we were doing a phone thing where it's the videos on both sides. But I was in there with my video stuff with Kevin Wilkes is his head physical therapist there. Mm-hmm. And he pulled up the DDPY jack straps. That's the ones he uses for blood flow restriction. And that's what's called blood flow restriction training. And my knees, I'm just knocking on wood because they feel like, and before I've been doing the arms for over a year, but the legs I didn't do until about 3 months ago. And my knees are really, especially my left knee, was really bothering me. It's mind-boggling to me how much better they feel right now, how deep I am, areas I couldn't get as far as deep in my positioning because that's where you got to break up the scar tissue and build strength. And I just blown away by what's been happening with my just my fitness level. And going to be 65. So
looking great.
Is 70 out of the question? I don't know.
70. Well, do you got time for a pop culture question or two that I've never heard?
Sure.
Okay. So you're a rock and roll guy. I've heard the great stories in your Norma Jeans era and all that of you seeing like Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue before they were famous, and you having to give, I think, bad news to John Bon Jovi that he couldn't play at at a club that you helped manage way back when.
No, actually, I had him booked to come in, and the owner put him in the back bar instead of the main bar. And if he would have played that right, he could have been our Bruce Springsteen. Because Johnny was still young and he was just doing the club business, man. But he made a kind of an impact.
Just a little bit of an impact.
Just a little bit.
So one thing I wasn't sure about, given your musical, the bands I know that you like, is there any connection between Diamond Dallas Page and Diamond David Lee Roth?
No. Never been on that. I'm gonna spin this right. Tell me if this gets too much on the sun, because the sun's cracking in my face here. Can you still see me okay?
Perfect. I can see it.
You can see the Gulf right back there. You see that?
Yeah. Right now I see a photo of you, but it'll...
No, what happened is someone tried to call in. Let's see if you can you see the Gulf?
I see the Gulf. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I just bought a piece of property down here, and Paige and I are building our retreat for our DDPY program, and we have one more trip, one more DDPY retreat in Mexico in July. Hopefully that comes to fruition, because it's COVID time still. But hopefully that'll be our last one, and then the rest of them, starting in 2022, will be right here on this beach.
Wow.
And in our retreat that we're building.
Wow. Okay. I look forward to hearing more about that. But you're saying, to go back, there's no connection between Diamond David Lee Roth, just a total coincidence. It wasn't that you were a Van Halen fanatic or anything like that.
Not at all. I love those guys, but never really put that together. When I created Diamond Dallas Page instead of Handsome Dallas Page, I thought I was too old to be a wrestler at 31, and my birth sign was a diamond. I'm born in April, and I just thought, Diamond Dallas Page. I was looking for something that was as cool as Classy Freddie Blassie. I mean, that's really what I was looking for. I think that may be the greatest wrestling name of all time. Classy Freddie Blassie. Yeah. Genius.
I had a Fred Blassie shirt sent to your house back in January. Hopefully that didn't get lost in the COVID.
No, I wear it. I wear it. Thank you, man. I do. I wear that shirt.
Well,
I don't wear a lot of people, but I'll wear Freddie. I'll wear Piper. I'll wear Dusty. And Relentless. I'm wearing a They Live shirt. Through a lot of the interviews. Yeah.
Well, you got taste. And my last question, because you've been so generous with your time, is something I've never seen you discuss before. If you buy the DVD of the movie Entourage, you, Nikolai Volkov, and Jake Roberts are in this extra scene. I can't remember.
And Snuka. Yeah.
And my friend Grog, who is a film encyclopedia, showed it to me, and he went, "Do you notice that Dallas is the only person who's acting and in character and not just reciting lines?" So you're really good in that scene. How did that one happen?
I can't remember who turned me on to it. And I was a humongous fan of the show at the time because it was so hot. And the whole premise, they were putting together vignettes of, like, it wasn't like the Golden Girls, but it was like a bunch of those old ladies, and they played the boys. Yeah. It was the guys from Chips, that show from the 80s. I can't remember who else was with them. Yeah, they had a scene, and the whole backbone was supposed to be you'd see our scene or one of their scenes, and then they'd come on and they go, see Entourage the way it's supposed to be. And then boom, they'd show the right scene. And I called up Jake, of course, and I was friends with, Snook, so I wanted to get him in. And Nikolai was just priceless. As friggin' Johnny Drama. Vince was Snooka. I was Eric and Jake was Turtle. It was a lot of fun and stupid. Jake had just had his first hip replacement, which of course he didn't rehab, and they had him take that, had to be a 150-pound snake, and carry that around with a brand new hip that wasn't properly rehabbed to begin with. But Jake never complained once. And Snook, he had a problem. He was dyslexic and all that. He never really got to learn how to read. So Jake would work with the lines, and we'd feed him and let him go. And I literally had been out in California at that time for a couple of years studying acting. One of the things that's going to be pretty cool is my show. It's now called Guardians of Justice. It's a very dark superhero show that's going to be coming out. I just filmed a movie called Homestead, and it wasn't a huge part, but it was a really great part. I got to just go out and do that. And I'm working on a couple other things right now. Got a lot of stuff that's pretty hot right now. But right now, anybody who's watching this, go to Amazon Prime, watch Relentless. Please leave us a review. If we get up to 500 reviews, I hear they got to put us on the front page, for people to be able to see that we're there. And if you, after you see that, if you haven't seen The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, same thing. Please go there and check it out.
Well, thanks a ton for your time. Full disclosure, it's New Year's Eve. You got places to be. I got places to be. So thanks for all you do for me, for everybody, and really just have the best of New Year's Eve, and see you in 2021.
Looking forward. 21 is one of my favorite numbers. So looking forward to it. My brother, it's been your pleasure. See ya.
Pleasure. Bye. Thanks, Dallas. Have a great one.
Paltrocast.